Friday, November the 8th, maybe one of the greatest day in Bitcoin history. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cardone Crypto fucking show. I'm so excited. It's unbelievable. Sam, good to have you. You drove back last night to Tampa from Miami. I'm in Miami right now at the Setet Hotel, which is an awesome hotel. It's probably going to become my little spot now. I had an awesome meeting with a monster this morning. I mean, an absolute monster, dude. These people, we are absolutely winning. I am so excited to be a part of this movement. I got to tell you, like, a bunch of weird shit happened to me about 4 or 5 years ago, and I am literally going to be able to tell people in about a year it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It's just so amazing. I've met so many wonderful people in this space. I cannot possibly tell anyone. Like, I have met tens of thousands of people over my lifetime. I have never met so many great, high quality, good people that are also going to get super rich, or they already are super rich, and they're helping so many people. I'm just very, very impressed with the whole ecosphere. We're winning, man. We're winning in such a massive way. I don't even know what to start with first, Sam. It's actually mind-boggling, dude.
Well, like we haven't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We'll get to we're going to get rid of all the problems first, and that's going to like take this, what I think a big, wet, cold, heavy blanket has been put on the entire industry, constantly tripping us up, constantly saying things about us that was either maliciously incorrect or ignorantly incorrect. In either case, we have a world, dude. I had meetings this morning that suggest to me that sovereigns are buying Bitcoin today. And nobody knows it. I mean, monsters. And, we have a president who is going to keep 140,000 Bitcoin on his balance sheet. Once you keep, I actually checked this guy. I said, hey, once you decide that you're not going to sell it, you have effectively decided to hold it on your treasury. And that's game over, because you will add. Already, they've tripled the value of that reserve. And any economic guy is going to look at that and go, yeah, we won't be cutting that. Okay. Like, why would you get rid of that? This theory of, I heard a guy today on the Mario Danish, David Diwali show, the finance show 8, that, oh, yes, people are going to allocate 1 or 2%, and it's really negative. It's just not that big of a deal. I'm like, 9 months ago, we were saying people would allocate a half, and we were jacked up. Now they're out. This mofo is talking about 2%, and I'm telling you, people are doing 6, 13, 26, and nobody wants to really talk about the BlackRock letter that went out last year that I read, have a copy of, said proper allocation to Bitcoin is 86.4%. And that letter got erased from the planet so rapidly. But that letter most certainly was out there by an analyst saying mathematically the right allocation for Bitcoin is 86.4%. And then they backed it down to, like 26 or 30. This is really, really staggering. People are going to make tremendous amount of wealth here. And I think most of the Bitcoin crypto digital asset industry is underestimating what's going to happen. I really believe we have a frame of reference to understand what's getting ready to happen. It's pretty exciting, dude.
Tell me, because we haven't talked or gone live since really election night. I want to just, so we can record it for history, like, I want to know what was happening on election night with Gary Cardone. What were you seeing? How did you feel? When was the realization like, oh shit, we just won? Like, what was that evening like? Because I really want to talk to you about that.
Well, gosh, it seems so long ago, but it was November the 5th, right? And here we are, November the 11th, 9th.
Eighth,
We're on the
eighth.
9th. It's the 8th. No, it's the 9th, right? No, it's the 8th.
No,
Fuck,
it's the eighth. Yeah.
dude. 3 days ago. Does anybody feel like this was 3 days ago? It feels like 3 weeks ago, dude.
I know.
Okay. So what was I doing? I'm listening to all these people online. Can't sleep, of course. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stay up all night to figure out what's going on here. Had no idea that by 10:30, I was told last night that the Mar-a-Lago event, Trump let everybody go at 10:30. He moved them into the convention room. You're the one that told me maybe. He moved them over to the convention. Like, okay, deal's done, dude. We're done. Which I think is really cool that a guy like that would let everybody go. He wouldn't just drag them through the. What was I doing? I one, I was very confident we were going to win. I was only confident we were going to win, assuming they didn't steal it. And this too big to rig. We should learn a lesson from this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. We are fucking powerful when we get our shit together. And for you guys I want to thank all the people that didn't come out of the closet before the election and the vote. It actually may have helped us that people were scared to put their name on the Donald Trump ticket and suffer the retribution that might come. I, for one, am not going to live that way. I do not want to live in a country where I have to be scared about voicing my opinion on how our country should be run. I'm a shareholder in this country, man. Think about it this way, okay? I pay taxes to buy shares in the United States of America. I'm not investing in Russia. If you guys want me to invest in Russia, I'll go there and invest in Russia. But I'm here, and I think this is a shareholding. I think I should be able to speak openly. But I'm really grateful for all the Scaramucci's of the world that pulled the orange ballot, but they bitched about it. And I think a lot of people pulled that orange ballot, even though they were bad mouthing the other team, because they bet on their wallet. At the end of the day, you're going to bet on your family's wallet, not some lady in office. And I'll tell you, a lot of these people who didn't come off dead center or dead left, I think they're going to be remembered forever in the crypto industry. Forever. I was really surprised some of the people that played their hands so hard on this political thing. Now, having said that, I'm not really political, but I do think at some point, I've never done anything political. Never invested $1 in any of these people. And for the first time in my life, I invested in 3 people to support the future, and all of them won, dude. Luna, Vivek, Trump. And I'll support them in any way I can. If they want me to go work for them, dude, I'll carry trash for them. That's what we have to do to get this mess fixed. Dude, I was just, sitting around watching history be made. When the numbers started coming in, it was like, this is going to be clock tower hour. And look, I think, a whole group of criminals just got removed from office. And what they were trying to do was a coup. I think a number of coups have been attempted on this country in the last, and maybe even achieved in the last 8 years. That shit stopped today, dude. We're done now. It's 3. Now, the FTC is going to fight. Lena Khan will be gone, which, by the way, I think just getting rid of the regulators, the draconian regulators. I asked Eric this morning, I said, Eric, have you seen the story that came out Friday before the election results on Miss Khan and her criminal FTC investigation operation? It's heinous, dude. Like, you think Gary Gensler's a bad guy. Lena Khan is a complete criminal, okay? She has been using the force of her office to destroy innovation in companies. I spent $7 million defending this lady on a $100,000 event. That's what my bill was to him. Hey, Gary, we think you're such a heinous criminal. Here's $100,000. Cost me $7 million in 2.5 years just to get to the point where they told me what they thought the damage was. Who in their right mind would spend $7 million against a $100,000 issue, right? And then you got XYZ Pfizer ABC player, this bank, that bank, TD Ameritrade, $3 billion for stealing, heinous crimes. No one goes to jail, dude. Their stock goes up. They have been running companies like mine and people like me out of this country. They don't want this type of creation. They don't. They don't want goats, okay? They want sheep. I don't want to be a sheep, dude. Who wants to be a sheep? Raise your hand. I want to be a goat, right? Who doesn't want to be a rich fucking goat that's a good person and helps change the world for positivity? That's what successful people are supposed to do. When did we lose our way that the George Soros of the world, they collect so much money that they're not here to do good. They're here to like create chaos, man. And I think we've had so much chaos in the last 12 years. This country and the world, quite frankly, does not need more chaos. We need unity. And having first principles that we say, hey, these are our first principles. We can argue over the edges, but the first principle is let people like Gary Cardone participate in the marketplace, make the marketplace better. I've hired thousands and thousands of people, and I'm looking at it now going, hey, look, it's too much work. You guys are asking me to do too much. And every time I turn around, I have to get a letter from some idiot who's trying to do whatever. I don't even know what their agendas are anymore. And that's the sad part. So I had the most exciting day of my 24 hours. It's 3 days later, dude. I thought it was a week or two. And I'm exhausted, but I'm so excited I can't be exhausted.
How does this change your game plan? How does this change? I mean, I know it's kind of a hard question, and we talked about, if Kamala wins, what are you going to do? But like with Trump winning, is Gary Cardone now thinking, oh, I need to double down on this, or this is something that I can now do, or maybe you're just more confident that everything's going to work out? I mean, have you even kind of been thinking through, okay, now here's what I can do now that I know he's in office?
Well, I think that one thing it did do was it really got me very comfortable with the Node 40 business. Private equity next year, investments in startups, series, say late series, seed series, and early A. I think they're going to explode. The tool we have, I met with a guy today that's one of the largest players in the world. He doesn't know what his cost base is. Been doing this since 15, dude. Doesn't know what his cost base is. Now I'm going to give him a taste of what we do at Node 40, and his life will never be the same. When he sees the clarity, I'm going to give it to the deal guy free because it's going to blow his mind. And for someone that big not to know his cost base. Now, look, I think a lot of people are like that because we basically launched a bunch of Ferraris and Lambos, Maseratis on a road that hasn't even been built. There's no stop signs, yield signs. There's no warning signs, curve up ahead. None of that's there. Hell, the road's still fucking dirty, dirt, pothole. It's awesome if you're going 2 miles an hour. But dude, once you get to 100 Bitcoin, this cat's like, dude, 3 Bitcoin, you're going to be rich. 10 Bitcoin. He actually did a survey. They had dinner in Vegas with a bunch of wealthy people. Very few were into Bitcoin. He did a survey. I think there was 8 people around the room, and they thought that 10 Bitcoin would be the nuts of wealth. Wow. Dude, I know people with a lot more than 10. Saylor bought 10,000 Bitcoin on his first purchase. First whack job.
Wow.
Poof. Yeah.
And Bitcoin obviously loves the presidential election. You were telling me how you saw, I think before even Pennsylvania was called, you were saying Bitcoin was pumping, and that's when you knew, right?
About. Dude, everyone, this was, okay, I'm busy right now. Thank you. This was the exciting part about this was that I'm in a room with, 10,000 people, man. Yeah, I'm not available right now, ma'am. And they're looking at AP, Associated Press. They're looking at CNBC, Fox, CNN. Everybody's trying to figure out who's got your video went off, buddy. Who's got what?
Yeah, I got
Who's got? No problem. They're talking about who's going to win, where are the indicators coming from. When in reality, I'm sitting there. It was 9:20, and I'm watching Bitcoin start to rip. It goes from, I don't know, maybe 62 to it was in the 62s, and then it goes to 63. I'm like, this thing, and then it moves again and again. It goes at $4,000. I'm like, well, you guys don't need to talk to AP, dude. This is done. If people go back, it'd be really fascinating for any naysayers. You should go back, and I'm telling you that Bitcoin is literally telling us what's going to happen tomorrow. And no one's listening to this. You should go look at how rapidly Bitcoin responded to no news from the AP or CNN when they were in doubt. It was telling you exactly what they were getting ready to say. This fucking race is done. And it just cracked, dude. It went up to, I'm not looking at the chart right now, but in the last 3 days, in the last 1 week, we were at, on November the 4th, you could have bought Bitcoin at $67,000 and $67,008. And now it will cost you $75,965. And before the end of the day, next weekend, you will not be able to buy $77,000 Bitcoin. This is happening right now, dude. My brother has
Isn't
left
that fucking crazy? That's just crazy to me.
$1 million on the table in 3 weeks. Remember when he stuck his dick out in the space and said, hey, I got 1,500. I'm going to buy 1,500 Bitcoin. How big am I going to move the market? I told this guy this story. And my answer to Grant was, I said, Grant, you clear $150 million Bitcoin in 8 hours and not even move it. He told me, he's like, we have a algorithm. We can get Grant into $150 million Bitcoin in 3 hours or less and not move the market. He said, dude, 150 million, no one is even going to see him there. It's like dropping a pebble in the ocean. Dude, this is exciting, okay? We've never had Bitcoin where you could dump $50 million into it and it doesn't do anything. This is next generation Bitcoin now. This is a new era for Bitcoin. We have every major player in the world here except Vanguard and Bank of America. Who cares about Bank of America? Okay. And Charles Schwab. Who cares, dude? No one cares about B of A. Who was telling me the other day? In fact, it was this breakfast. And I think someone was on an interview one day and they said, hey, look, this guy, Microsoft doesn't really like Bitcoin, or, the Bank of Americas don't like Bitcoin. You know what the guy said? Big player. Everybody knows who he is. He literally looks at the announcer and said, nobody gives a fuck about these firms, dude. Bitcoin doesn't care. So what do we have? We have Treasury release documents. We know exactly what the tax implications are now and how reporting is impacted. If you think Trump's going to lower taxes or income, I've had a call this morning. Hey, man, is that going to hurt Node 40? I'm like, guys, settle down. Reducing taxes doesn't mean you have to not report. You still have to report. In fact, you want to know what your position is, whether you're paying taxes or not. That's just stupid not to know. So we have Treasury doc. We have a SEC who's getting pushed aside. We have an FTC who's getting pushed aside. An FDA guy that's going to get pushed aside. An FAA guy that's going to get pushed aside. And there's probably the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration, and the people. They need to be completely eviscerated. Now, that's 5 of the top players, all under massive commission investigations by the U.S. government. And there's another 425 organizations that drive regulation into our country. We should get rid of at least 200 of these regulatory bodies. Like, what are they doing? Okay. The amount of money that we can save as a country, if we really go in here and gut this thing, dude, it's spectacular. So we have all that going for us. We have an ETF that the volume of ETF volume flow yesterday, all time, monster all-time high. Like, this volume is getting ready to rip everyone's faces off. You've never seen money like this. I am telling you, Bitcoin has never, ever seen anything like this. This is the largest money flows in the planet, dude. And it's all coming in a 6 to 9 month period. It is going to just wash into this fucking space. I mean, just absolutely wash into it. And the more it comes in, the more it gets validated and the stronger it becomes. There are so many, and the reason I think so many people are underestimating this, if you have been here a long time, you have PTSD. The volatility in this violence, dude, is what causes PTSD, right? The volatility in this industry has been spectacular. People have taken massive swings, probably unlike any other industries ever taken kind of swings. And they're all like, hey, is this happening really? I've gotten clocked so many times that I got comfortable. Well, we're 15 years in now. We're a 16-year-old kid. He's going to behave less violently. He has more and more people. He's coming into bigger and bigger clubs. So what do you do when you get into bigger and bigger clubs? You start behaving differently. So I think Bitcoin's just at the very, very early stage of becoming a risk-adjusted. Oh, this is the other thing, okay? The guy shows up this morning. I mean, I really value this human being. He was early and he stayed, and he got connected to some of the biggest player in the world. I think that's really, really awesome. Within 2 minutes of him sitting down, he said, you know, Gary, risk adjusted. I'm like, yeah, risk adjusted. Because you've only probably, that is, if you walk away from, you know, you're going to remember, hey, Gary always said, dude, risk adjusted, this is the time to buy Bitcoin. He and I agree 1,000% with each other. And I've been saying that for what, 9 months? Okay, risk adjusted at $27,000. Once Treasury dropped its rules, dude, I knew this is game over now, okay? Once the tax man tells you what they want, we have a market, we have a blue ribbon product now, right? Because the tax man, if he writes rules about it, he's basically saying this ain't going away. And at $75,000, I will tell everyone here, okay, this is financial advice. If I could double my position tonight at 75,000, I would do so. If my ex-partner came up and said, hey man, I'll give you a reduction of 50 cents on the dollar, I'd take the deal. I'm telling her right now, okay, somebody owes me a shitload of money. And they literally could show up this afternoon and say, I will take 1/2. I'll pay you right now 1/2 of the money. It is a lot of money, okay? It is, you know, a lot of money. I would take that deal so fast and I would smash it all into Bitcoin. 1,000%. I would then call my bank and go, hey, I want another 40 or 50% leverage on it. Okay, this is life-altering opportunity. The risk related to this is so negligible at this point. It is infinitesimally small. And it's never, the risk associated with Bitcoin today has never been less than it is. Never, not ever in its history. $3, massive risk. $30, massive risk. $300, massive risk. $3,000, 30,000, 75,000, we have everything we need. A U.S. government, a proper government, Trump, he supports this. This is not fake. Okay. We've checked with enough people inside the administration. He gets it. It's an industry. He ain't going to say no to a $3 trillion industry. So, and let's say they shoot Trump tomorrow morning. JD Vance knows more about crypto than Trump. So this is game, set, match. We're going home. I get to now like figure out, hey, how can I know this is happening because I got my damn legacy bank calling me twice a day going, hey man, how can we get the crypto stuff? Would you be willing to dump it into an ETF and take the tax hit? I said, I ain't taking a fucking tax hit to do business with you, dude. This is your problem to solve. Now, here's a bank. This is not going to happen tomorrow. But as this price goes up, I think I told you this a year and a half ago, man, my bank's going to get a phone call. I have been really good to them. I've consolidated a ton of business with one bank. But there's a day that I'm going to drop a fucking, and they're probably listening. They listen to my stuff. Guys, you can't, I have too much money in the most liquid asset in the world, about quadruple what you hold in my bank, in the bank in fiat. And one, you're missing out on it because I'm okay to pay a few fees, but also it's what's the word for it? It's constraining my ability to perform in a super cycle. And I think we're in a super cycle here, whatever that means. There's not a proper, that's not a real definition. But we're in a cycle that is, I think, going to hyperextend the type of returns we've seen in the last, say, 4 years. And I think a lot of people are going to get left behind it. Well, not get left
listening
behind,
to you talk. Listening to you talk gives me such FOMO. Like, not that I'm not buying Bitcoin, but and it sounds almost like Gary Cardone has FOMO. It's just like, holy cow. Like, I need to put even more money in this thing. And it's like, I've already been putting so much in. But it's just, you have said for the past year, your main fear was geopolitical risk. And that, with this election, seems like it's gone, right? Like, how is the United States not going to start buying Bitcoin? And if the United States starts buying Bitcoin, what other country's not going to do so? And to what you said previously, they probably already are.
Let's say they don't buy Bitcoin. You just said something, though, that wasn't one of the points of me being FOMO. Hey, we don't have the risk of nuclear war today. We don't. Well, we still have the risk, but it's not anywhere near what it was 72 hours ago.
You saw what's going on around the world? Like, you saw all these world leaders, like, dad's home, like, oh shit, time to shape up. Like, he's not even in power yet.
Yeah, I never raised my voice at the house. I don't have to, dude. It's like, oh, dad's back. We're going to respect the space. Excuse me for 1 second. You go. Somebody's ringing.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if you guys already saw, but the leaders of China, the leaders of Russia, Hamas is already saying, hey, guys, we got to figure this out. There's already upheaval in governments like Germany, all because Trump just got elected. The man hasn't even done anything. He's already been talking about the executive orders he's going to be issuing. He's already been talking about what he's been doing. I think he met, so they say, he's already had phone calls with over 70 world leaders. What were you going to say, Gary? It's just awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, like, I'm not FOMO'd at all. I'm excited. Look, I've been putting this plan together for 4 years, man. And like, I am going to celebrate a win. I was in a business before we would have a win and, company calls you up. Oh, I just signed a 7-year contract with you. I mean, it's something we worked on for 3 years. And, one of the partners, my only other partner, would be like, okay, what are we working on next? Let's go close another deal. I'm like, hey, can we take a moment to, like, celebrate the team. I'm going to take a win, dude. Now, I'm not going to go spend money. Okay. I'm not going to go, I'm not talking about wasting money, but I'm talking about, hey, let's review what's worked well. People talk about reallocating because they're winning. I'm sure there's everybody out there smarter than me, but I don't reallocate winners, dude. I hold on to my winners. I'm not going to, oh, wow, my allocation was 80%. Now it's 160%. Why would I cut that? Like, that is stupid. Okay. I don't understand why you would cut winners like that. The only reason you would cut a winner is if you're working for a guy like me and your commission, your incentive package is such that you want to get me out of the trade in December so you can clock in a liquidity event and go, hey, Gary, I get 3% of that $10 million we made. I don't want to sell. Okay, because then I have to redeploy into what? Another entry point? I should be adding to these entry points. So these incentives, like, nobody does that to me because I make all these decisions myself. And by the way, I am stunned there's only 500 people here. Yeah, I would have thought there had been 10
actually.
Fucking unbelievable you're not here. I literally did. I would literally double my position at 75,000. My cost base, by the way, is 40,667. And if I doubled my position at 75, it would take that up to 66 or so. It wouldn't concern me in the least, dude. Wouldn't be bothered about it. We will see a we will see $1 million Bitcoin. Now, time frame's an issue, right? But this now is accelerating at such a rate. I will remind everyone, we still don't know what the flows into the ETF for Q3 and Q4 are. We don't know. We know what the volume of flows have been, but when you find out, yeah, that's the state of Washington, or, oh, that's CalPERS in California, man. Okay, they bought $1 billion. See, the other thing that's going to happen, people need to understand, is that as this market gets more validated, people are going to bounce into this thing with much larger money. It's not going to be just, 1%. They'll be like, okay, there's no risk here now. Right? And by the way, they're already all massively allocated in almost every field. Pensions, equities, AI, maybe not AI, but they're coming into the AI. They should look at this trade as an AI trade. Bitcoin is an AI trade. Like, they're just neighbors, man. They're just sitting next to each other. Bitcoin and AI, if you're mining Bitcoin, all of a sudden there's a great need in the AI space for high compute. It'll switch to it. It'll go arbitrage if it can. Now, I understand Bitcoin and high unit high capacity processing are very different businesses. But if the arbitrage gets big enough, if the equipment, that's what this is going to lead me into, looking at the AI side of this on the equipment. Hey, where do you buy core? Do you buy the underlying? I mean, I just think it's going to take me personally down the AI world, which I know very little about. And so this is my way of saying, hey, look, I don't know much about robotics or AI, but I can really get Bitcoin. And the cool thing about Bitcoin, I've gone through all the engineering issues. See, I don't have to now go through a robotic design and go, ooh, that arm just wasn't built.
Gary, you're there? Did he freeze? Can you guys still see me, or did he freeze out? Is that my Wi-Fi or his? Let me see. Gary, you're still there? Did we lose him on the hotel Wi-Fi? Gary froze. Oh man, and he was on such a good. I'll have to tell him. You guys get the point, though. Let me just text him, hey, your Wi-Fi froze. May have to exit and relog back on. You guys can hear me, though. Oh, he disconnected. No. He'll come back on. I'll make sure he comes back on. Oh, we got yeah, I watch endless content from all the various creators. I enjoy them all, but none of them can anywhere close to the value of your content, Gary. I guess you can't thank you so much. Well, Gary, I'll have to come back and read your compliment. Chris, hopefully you can hear me though. Brian, what's going on? Yeah, hey, you're right. Okay, Gary's gonna come back on. Don't worry. He's in Miami right now, and so just for those of you who didn't know, Gary and I, we were in Miami. We were speaking at a Web3 summit on, Bitcoin and real estate. And then, of course, I was in the Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach area for the actual election. So this week has just gone by crazy. To Gary's point, it really has. It's felt like the election was just 3 days ago, and it's felt like an entire week, just with the amount of time that we've been grinding out and meeting all these power players now. I don't know how hyped you guys are. If you've been listening to Gary up until this point, everything Gary's been saying, I think, for the past 9 months is not only is happening, but is very easily going to come to fruition. Okay, there we go. What's up? All right, you're back. Gotta love hotel Wi-Fi.
Yep. Well, it's an issue. Where did you lost me on? Probably just the volume of money that's going to come in here. I just think it's just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. People were one guy said, where's his comment now? He was just complimenting you. He said you're one of the best content creators he watches. I was like, that is absolutely true. And he's been watching you, I think, for 9 months now.
Well, there's a smart guy. We need to get that message out. But here's a guy.
That's
Robert,
right.
Thank you for that, whoever that was. But like Robert Levy says, I feel late to the party. Dude, I got to tell you, you're not late to the party. You're only late to the party relative to people like me that are a little weird. Like people like me are weird, okay? I would not expect most people in this market yet. You shouldn't shame yourself over this, okay? Like my brother, you have never heard me say one negative thing about, I might laugh a little bit and make funnies. My brother is taking the time that other people, normal human beings will take. My brother doesn't take risks like I do. I've been doing this early stage shit my whole life. I love it. It's exciting for me. It's a bit of a junkie thing probably, or adrenaline thing, but it's all I know also. He will like Robert, you're not late, dude. There's just something you didn't understand about Bitcoin, and that's okay. We didn't do a great job of explaining it to many people. In fact, I think we went out of a way to confuse people. But if you just look around the rest of the world around you, everything else is failing. And it all has a connection to fiat, to money that you can make up. This is very unique, a very unique product. I dare challenge that you have never seen anything in your life that is finite, truly finite. Just once you ask yourself that question over the weekend, give me a list of things that are truly finite, that cannot be copied and cannot be accelerated. You're going to wake up Monday morning and go, oh, wow, I have an opportunity to invest in something that's a one of a kind, true one of a kind. And maybe it gets, copied a little bit through the ETFs. I mean, that is there. But in fact, the ETFs are going to actually support the very investment you're making, because it's going to give more people access to Bitcoin than they would have had otherwise. And it makes them come in earlier. There are so many people that cannot buy Bitcoin. I'm one of them, by the way. I have a large amount of money sitting in other things. I can't get into Bitcoin. I just can't get it there unless I decommission everything from those players, which is not the easiest thing to do when you have a complicated 30 or 40 years of building, right? So I don't think you're late, dude. I think your ego will tell you you're late. Don't let your ego fuck you up, okay? Being wrong and being late should not stop you from making a decision today about the right thing. All right? Don't
Is
let
this
your
what it
ego.
felt like? Well, I was just going to ask, is this what it felt like when the energy markets were deregulated? Like you talked about when Reagan came in and just cleared, like, do you get the same feeling that you're entering a market that's just about to go crazy again?
Dude, this will make the energy space that I made a lot of money on. I never had to work another day in my life after 40. This is going to make that look small. Also, it's going to make it look fast. We are doing this extremely rapidly. You guys do not understand how long this takes. It took Natural Gas Clearinghouse would become a Fortune 30 company 7 years after it started. And 20 years after it started, it would go bankrupt. Well, it would just implode on itself. The whole industry just brought it down. And it also took a very special entrepreneur to run those businesses. There's so many implications on Bitcoin that open the world up to Bitcoin that you don't have to be an energy expert to come here. In order to be in an energy trading shop in that era, you had to work for a player that had the remit to do this, had the balance sheet to do it, and had the intellect, right? And there are a lot of legacy players like ExxonMobil who are like, we don't want to play this game. That was a mistake. 30 years later, I think I could go back into the energy business and make probably $1 billion. But and my point is, it still hasn't become efficient. I think Bitcoin is going to drive a massive amount of efficiency into energy, and it could very well bring me back in that space and get excited about it. So that's a long way of me saying I actually think this is more exciting. One, it's global. Two, it doesn't require any pipelines, doesn't require wires. So I'm not stuck in ERCOT. I'm not stuck at the Henry Hub. I'm not stuck in the North Sea at Thettlethorpe. I literally can go anywhere. I'm not, and let's use that analogy for real estate. Oh, I own Manhattan real estate. Okay, cool. I own cyber Manhattan, dude. Okay. And anytime Manhattan gets nuked, I get to move my Manhattan position to, okay, I'm buying 10 cents on the dollar Palo Alto. Like my location, anytime somebody fucks with me in Manhattan and raises my rates up, this is what Grant said. Hey, I'm not going to invest in Manhattan. It's crazy. Well, they can't do that in Bitcoin, dude. You just move it. Bye. See you later. I'm going to Spain. There's a lot of power in being able to move without. There's a lot of power. Like try to liquidate $1 billion in Manhattan tomorrow. You can liquidate $1 billion in Bitcoin tomorrow afternoon, and it won't even move the market. It's 1/50th of the market. So it's and it'll trade on Saturday, Sunday, Easter, Christmas Day, bank holiday, or any other made up holiday. It will trade. Just because the banks are closed, you and I have to stop doing business. That's crazy, man. I mean, you're already seeing Bitcoin have a response. The banks are now talking about being open 20 hours a day. Wall Street's talking about being open 20 hours a day. You know, the problem? You guys didn't go all the way. What's the 20 hours? It's a 24-hour day, not a 20-hour day. Oh, I got it. You need time to go check all your pencil spreadsheets. You can't actually do anything in real time because you're dealing with legacy analog assets and you're measuring them analog. You have so many people in the center, in the middle, risk management, accounting, forensics teams. They're adding time to every day to take 4 hours out of every day and go, okay, we're going to become more efficient. Most certainly you're becoming more efficient from where you're at, which is literally less than 4 days a week the markets are open. And anybody that wants to challenge that, just come on in, okay? Saturdays, Sundays, and bank holidays, banks are not open. You can't trade, so remove all those days. There's 100. Now you got 265 days, of which they're only open between 9 and 4. So 9 and 4, 4 days a week, call it 5 days a week, still half a day, dude. Compared to Bitcoin, you're literally open less than 3 days a week. Really. Compared to Bitcoin, liquid 8,760 hours a year. That's 8,760 hours a year. That is how many hours in the year. And the banks want to give you access to banking 3,000 hours a year. Who would buy that product? But most people don't even know there's 8,760 hours in it. But you know, when you say it that way, you're like, wow, why would I pay somebody 2% to manage my money or 1% to manage my money? And they're literally only available 3,000 out of 8,760 hours a year. Nobody sells Bitcoin this way. Now, on that point about the guy that said I sell it, I was with 300 people. I did a survey, every day. How many people own Bitcoin? 80% of the people 60% of the people raised their hands. Everybody that's got their hand raised, please stand up if you know your cost base. 0 knew their cost base. Me and the lady that was doing the interview knew. No one else knew. Dude, there were some people in there, some real people. This tells me we're so early. We're years early. We're like the guy said he's late. Dude, you're going to look back in this in 8 years and realize you were early. Now, I wouldn't want to wait much longer. See, now you waiting, it is going to cost you $25,000. I can absolutely, without any kind of concern, say to you that in the next 5 months, you will see $100,000 Bitcoin, maybe 150, and that you're never going to be able to buy Bitcoin at $50,000 ever again. Because let's think about this: 50,000 a coin means it's a 1.1 or $2 trillion market. This market from here never ever gets smaller than $1 trillion. This market got here on $1 trillion on the worst marketing and promotion ever invented in the history of mankind. It wasn't even invented. It was made up on the fly. And until people like Saylor came along, it was extremely confusing. Extremely confusing. Full of like bloat and unnecessary information and massive amounts of friction points. I mean, I literally was on a space the other day before the election. You were on it with me. A couple of guys were interrupting me. There's a guy there. It is clear to me. I listen really well, even though I yak a lot. But I also watch people when they're like looking, or like when I'm talking, I'm like, hey, what's the response? This guy clearly had some money. He was not talking about buying one Bitcoin. And he's like, Gary, I'm just a little gun shy, dude. You remember that? I'm like, bro, I have a feeling you want to put $1 million plus to work. Go smash the button, dude. Go smash. Maybe it's only $500,000, or maybe it's 250. You must get pregnant. But just pop the cherry. Okay, smash it. Get in the game. You have a bet on the table. Now you're going to watch the cards. I'm not going to watch the cards if I don't have a bet. I cannot remember that guy's name, but I so hope he smashed the $1 million in there. I think that's what he was going to do. He will never regret this, dude. I mean, what's he going to maybe lose? 10%? Dude, if I only can lose from, let's say 70 to 60, that's 10 grand on a $70,000 investment that I could lose in volatility. That doesn't bother me. It only bothers Volatility only bothers you if you're spending more than you earn. If you're not spending more than you earn every month, you should be very comfortable with volatility, right? I am. It gives me an opportunity to buy. Like these people asked me yesterday, hey, what's your strategy? If it falls 20%, I buy the shit. I don't care what number it came off of. 20% back, I'm a buyer. That is going to prove to be very smart and so easy to manage. It's just like easy peasy. Like, I don't like the DCA, right? The DCA, oh, I'm just buying the average, which is still a great solution. That is the thing that most people should do. But I am watching this every day now. I have to because of my other businesses. 20% pullback, dude. I'm a smasher. I'm a smasher. And then if it falls another 10%, I'm going to smash some more because that's now 30% off the high. So I look at all-time high at 75, a $14,000 to $20,000 correction into the 50s. I'm a buyer for size, dude. Okay, buyer for size. At 80 grand, that's a $16,000 reduction. That means that Bitcoin should, percolate between 60 and 70 grand. A 20% drawdown off 80 would be 16. That's 64 grand. That's why I think we're going to be in the 64, 66 base level. Okay, cool. You're going to sit there and go, I'll wait. There might be a retracement here. If I had enough power, I'd smash this market down to 70 and scare the fuck out of people so that I could buy it for 68. And that will happen. We will most certainly begin seeing these really aggressive volumes in between 2,000 and 3,000 swings. I think we're going to start seeing these numbers start to contract a bit. The spreads between the bid offer, just big volume swings on 8, 12% moves. But I don't think it's going away. I think people are going to have to be comfortable with $5,000 and $10,000 movements and understand that is the blessing of Bitcoin, unless you're just stacked with trillions of dollars under your bed and you can deploy it all right now. But if you have not been if you've been on the sidelines and this is actually starting to make sense to you, if this does not make sense to you, I would suggest you not invest in this space. I would suggest that you invest in figuring out why am I so stupid and proving me, oh, Gary's just an idiot. I'll pay you for some of the training. I would love somebody to come up here and tell me, but at some point, you guys, when 75-year-old lawyers are calling me up on the, what's today? Today's Friday. On Wednesday, I still can't believe this has only been 3 days. I have lawyers, most conservative people in the world. Really good job that you did on Trump. We really appreciate your support. You're an animal, dude, getting out in front and taking those hits. Same guys calling me going, hey, people are going to tag you, dude. They're going to hurt you. You are a target. I've had 3 phone calls from lawyers, West Coast, local, and offshore, going, dude, you're going to get hurt. And my view is, fuck you guys, and I'm going to get hurt. I have to say this, guys. This is not cool. When I'm scared to say something, I'm not saying anything wrong. Okay? So come after me. Bring it. Now, what I need Bitcoin to do is keep screaming, because now this is the value of what I'm trying to do. The more money I make, the more I'm going to say, fuck off. Knock it off. Stop it. We need people like me, Saylor, Trump. We need a bunch of people like me that just go, knock it off. Okay. I can afford now to defend any lawsuit. So let's roll. We're talking about money today that can actually shift the dynamics of politics. We have people that own more money than countries do. Okay. And anyone that doesn't think that the Bitcoin industry, the Bitcoin revolution did not help Donald Trump win this race we got some votes, dude, that we're not expecting. Right. So I don't, Dude, at this point, if you're really negative, you should start selling puts. I mean, you'll get your face like, well, you probably, but you should be buying puts, not selling. And that's not the right answer either. If you don't understand this space, you just don't understand it. I don't know what else to do. Everybody and their brother. I had a lady last night that I went to dinner with for this event, and she was trying to talk me in. Hey, do you do anything around nuclear? I'm like, why would I want to do that? Well, nuclear is the future. Well, okay, that's cool. When, in what decade is nuclear going to be the future? I said, look, if you're going to be looking at nuclear power stations and micro power stations, why wouldn't you look at Bitcoin miners? She said, well, like which ones? I showed her all the stuff that I have. And I just showed the charts. We're driving down the road with the driver. She looks at the first chart. She said, all-time high, dude. I'd buy this. What is this, Gary? I'd buy this. Because she only does chart analysis. She doesn't care what the name is. She looked at the second miner. I'd buy this one too. Fucking hell. Literally in the back. Whoa, what is this, dude? Third one. I'd buy that. She said, dude, how many of these do you have? I said, as many as I could find, man. And she was like, fuck, dude. Some of these have gone up 30% since Trump got approved. Now, what is that telling you? Public companies. This isn't Bitcoin. These are public companies. And the message to the shareholder is, hey, we're not going to fuck with you anymore. We are not going to mess with you the way we've been messing with you with lack of clarity. See, lack of clarity is a great way for politicians to slow shit down. You need clarity, even if it's, hey, you're a felon. Okay, cool. Let's go prove it in court. See, they never really say it. It just remains kind of mutedly gray, so it never ends up in a courtroom. So this what I'm trying to express here is that I believe that the price appreciation for Bitcoin is going to be more than just about money. It is literally going to be about power and the ability to shape the future. And dude, that for me is an event that if I'm half wrong, I still have to be a party to, because the upside is so dramatically exciting. It's like now it's not even about the money, right? It's about being able to shape the future of the world and correct it, get it, at least this country level set. If we became a level set based world, we probably would have less interest in poking everybody. And I think we have been, under the last two administrations, we've been aggressively poking people, most of which have been our allies. And like I don't know, I don't think it's good strategy to alienate everyone, even your enemies, man. Like I have never found it to be a good practice to tell an enemy of you, a competitor, hey, you're a dick. I mean, I might go, dude, I don't like the way you do business, but I admire you're a competitor. So man, I beg anybody, okay? If you know something that can walk me off this cliff, I will pay you $1 million because I'm going to save a lot of money. I mean, I'm not just throwing that out. Just all I'm trying to do is go, wow, is Gary being on $1 million? If you can convince me to sell any of my Bitcoin, I'll give you $1 million. I mean, I just don't have yet. And this is me trying to open up my echo chamber, right? I don't want to live in an echo chamber. So I'm really literally asking people, hey, if you know something that the rest of us don't know in our little echo chamber, please come save me, because I don't want my kids to be broke. Yet I've yet to have you had anyone call you and go, hey, we're ready to set that up now? They don't even lose anything.
Yeah.
It's just a $1 million gain. Yeah, bro. I'm excited that you listened to the data and you started buying. When did you start buying? What price?
Well,
First day was
56.
Yeah. You'll never see 56 again, dude. It's gonna be awesome. I'll tell you a story. My sister had a couple of $100,000 in Altria, which is the cigarette company, and she's been holding that for 20 years, paying a 4% dividend. She's not even a smoker. I called her up and I said, "Hey, look, you got to get it. What's your 401k? Altria. Okay. What's the return been?" She showed me the return. I said, "I'll guarantee you the return. You're going to move all of it into one of the Fidelity exchange, the ETFs. I'll make sure that you get your 4%. You'll never get less than 4%, and your stock price will never go below. But you got to move it to Bitcoin." She called me last night. She said, "Hey, my Bitcoin position, my ETF's gone from 42 to 57." And I said, "Yeah, what'd your Altria do?" See, she didn't look at her Altria. All she did was look at, "Oh, wow, my bro, your Altria got crushed." Okay, you're up so much, it's stupid. I mean, you only think you made $15. One, you weren't making $15 on the other trade. You not only have made $15, but Altria has gone down. To me, this is the right way to sell Bitcoin to your family. Okay, I have a bunch of Bitcoin. Of course, I can handle her on her 100 grand, right? I just want my girl into this stuff. I know it's the right thing. And now she's looking at a good appreciation. Same story comes out of Eric this morning. His aunt's got $100,000 worth of shit. He turns it into 400, dude. And she didn't even know it. "Oh, wow, is my Bitcoin worth 200 grand today?" No, honey, your whole portfolio is worth 200. It is going to be worth a lot more than that. This is going to save this family's life, man. Right? This will save this family's life. This lady is going to die in grace, not requiring her family to spend money to bury her. That's cool, man. That's cool. I do not want to be a liability on the way out. So anyone that's not in, do some homework this weekend. Watch the white paper on Bitcoin by Satoshi. You can see it on YouTube. Buy The Cost of Money from Amazon tonight. It'll be in your mailbox tomorrow by Jeff Booth. The Cost of Money. And The Bitcoin Standard by Samadan. I can never say his name properly.
Saifedean.
Saifedean. The Bitcoin Standard. If you're really interested, you will do all of that by Monday morning. You will have finished both books and the Bitcoin white paper standard on YouTube. And if you don't, you're just lazy, okay? Because you're missing the greatest opportunity of your life. Literally, it is one of the greatest wealth building. And for me, it's actually done more for wealth. It's actually, my life is better. And it has nothing to do with the money. It's the people that I'm surrounded with that are really an awesome group of what I call freedom warriors. Freedom, wealth, power warriors that don't want the wealth and the power to harm anyone. We actually want to help. Like, there's plenty we can do to help. I don't think we have to take from anyone to win. So I've never met a nicer group of people. Never. So with all that, if you can't get bullish after 3 days of Trump, we've had a $62 to $75,000 move 3 days. His first 3 days, he's not even in office. What's going to happen when SEC Gensler's excused? It's going to go up $2,000, $3,000. What happens when the FTC bitch is removed? You're a bitch, dude. You and Levine. It's ridiculous. Okay, like, it's scary that we live in a country where you animals are left to operate in this way, in secret, in dark, without any accountability or responsibility. So I'm holding you accountable. You can come attack me if you want. I probably have enough money to defend myself now. But really, fuck off, okay? I'm an American, and I'm really sick and tired of it. I hope the younger people are okay with me saying this. One or two of you guys are going to have to pick up the spear and also speak out, though. You cannot expect Michael Saylor's not going to get into politics, and I'm really glad. I was talking to them about this morning. I said, I know you can't, dude. You're public. But that means I have to be willing to do this, right? Someone has to be willing. Michael Saylor can't do it. Because I asked him, hey, y'all going to the inauguration? Nah, dude, we're going to stay as far away from politics as possible. I said, yeah, but I think I need to go. Right. And like they totally agree with that too. Like, oh yeah, we need people doing this, dude. I'm going to just end with this and then give you a few minutes to close up for us. But the amount of people that are like, now, hey, that Trump dono that was smart. That says a lot. I get a lot of grief from that, dude. From the crypto bros.
Yeah.
From the crypto bros. From the crypto bros, who, by the way, since I've been bitching about mainstream politicians, most of those crypto bros, I think, and I saw some of them this week, think that I'm a Republican. I'm not a Republican. I've never been a Republican. I grew up under a Democratic family. I've never been a Democrat, and I'm most certainly not fucking independent. I refuse to call myself an independent, dude. I'm not an independent. I'm an American. I care about this country. I most certainly care about my kids and my family and my future. That does not make me independent. It makes me highly biased. Okay. I'm into freedom and Americanism. Leave me alone. Let me do my business. Write the laws, write the rules so that I can understand them, please. Clear and concise, I think, is the FTC's mandate. Clear and concise would be awesome. Make all of the consent agreements on Google and Amazon, make them clear and concise too while we're doing that. All of the documents from Visa, MasterCard, and every other bank, if we could make those clear and concise, that would be awesome. Also, the utility bills, it would be really nice if the utility bill, all of the bullshit from the 19th and 20th centuries with the FTC talking, there is nothing clear and concise for anyone other than Bitcoin. It's audited every 10 minutes. I can see it 24/7. I don't have any federal government bodies involved in the transaction. I don't have Bank of America taking a peeky peek. How is this doing any harm to anyone other than creating one of the greatest industries the world has ever seen? And we know full well, dude, the industries from the past cannot handle the future. We are going to digitize everything because we can. We have never had the ability to do this. And in fairness to the legacy world, they really have been using the only tools they have available. And that's all the leakage and the plumbing and all the fees. They're only because they can blame the system. Fraud. We're protecting you. We're doing this. And then it just grows. And now it's a business, right? Rape Joe Public, rape your customer, but you're really calling it something else. And they believe it. Most of the people in banking believe it. They don't think they're being pirates and thieves. I just, dude, I'm grateful. This is why I say, hey, go out and be nice to somebody. And because, wow, I like everybody I know wants to own their own business. Go buy Bitcoin. You will love being in business with Bitcoin. And that's, dude, the guy that I had breakfast with this morning, he bought $75,600 Bitcoin this morning. He showed it to me. He's like, I cannot believe I'm doing this. His first purchase was 800. Remember these guys I told you about? I always ask everybody, hey, what's your weighted average cost? And what I'm really asking, hey, when was the last time you bought? Because I want to know, did you buy in 2013 and you pussied up? Or did you buy in 2013 and you kept adding this cat? 75.6, man. Doesn't even care.
That may be
that no one's going to care, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that, I think that might be the first time I've heard you say someone who's bought that cheap and that expensive. Because every time we run into people, oh, I bought at 800, I don't need to buy anymore, which tells me the guy you met with this morning, I mean, like you always say, he has conviction, right? Because why would you stop, right? Why would you stop? I think that's pretty damn cool.
Well, see here, I got to be a little careful because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I think this is the value of having non-traditional Bitcoin people. See, he was very early, and I think he has been surprised by the response of people like maybe a Sailor or me. Once we get it, it's, oh shit. It's not gonna, once you get this and you're the right personality, you're not managing a pension. Once you get this, you're like, oh, I mean, Sailor's first purchase was 10,000 Bitcoin, dude. At 12,000 or 14,000. The person that educated him on it had no clue he was going to buy that volume. Now there'll be a point in time, I don't know this for certain, but the next time I see him, I'm going to ask him this question. When did the guy you brought into the deal, his behavior and actions literally flipped it where you are now the student and he's teaching you how to really do this? And that most certainly has happened with this individual. And I think that's really important for the old Bitcoiners to go, hey, the suits, people call me the suit. The suits are here. Like, I might not be your enemy, dude. There might be something you could learn from a suit. And most certainly Sailor has shown people that he can do a lot more than the core Bitcoiners could have done, right? Clearly, he's shown up to the table and done a monster amount for this industry. And it's because of the way he looks and his conviction based on his understanding of the old world. And it is most certainly the old world. Old, sticky, cranky, cracking, leaking analog infrastructure that is just not built for the 21st century. It's not right or wrong. It just is not built for the 21st century. Just like the roads in Rome are not going to facilitate electric cars. They're too old, man. Just things have to change. So I think it's exciting. I think it's like we're living in history, man. I'm going to be a comma in the history book, which I would never have anticipated. 2 years ago, dude, my brother talks about real estate. I talk about Bitcoin. Everybody listens to Grant. Today, that ain't so easy for him. Okay. Same stage, like, oh, wow, this Bitcoin thing, it's a real deal, dude. My returns on Bitcoin have been spectacular compared to real estate. Spectacular, dude. Like crazy. And it's going to just rip the face off of real estate, soon to be. Next 18 months is going to be a monster ride. Most people are going to get flushed out, man. You're going to hold on, though. You have discipline. So you and I will hold on. Yeah. This is the way you look at volatility, though, okay? Anybody that's talking about volatility, you're scared about volatility, you just go, okay, I like Bitcoin. It's volatile. See, that should be good for you because most people are going to be like, ooh, too volatile for me. The real estate's volatile also, but they don't even know it because they're not a print. Real estate's not open, but 2 days a week. About literally two days or 3 days a week. When people won't go into it, but they want to go into it, that's a good reason for me to be early, especially if you know people are going to end up in it anyway through some type of allocation. A good exercise would be, dude, for people to walk around their neighborhood or their country club or their office environment. Hey, do you own Bitcoin? Do you own Bitcoin? Do you own Bitcoin? Do you own Bitcoin? Do a survey. When you find out there's less than 1 out of 20 people with Bitcoin, Like, when do you want to get in? Do you want to get in when 18 are in? Or do you want to get in when 2 are in? Knowing that the 2 are actually very smart people. See, people don't do that. They look at the 20 people and go, hey, 18 people didn't get in. Yeah, but who are the 2? Oh, they're geniuses, dude. They haven't had to work their whole life. Yeah, I like those 2. Who are the 18? They're losers. They're, working for the man. I mean, not losers, right? But they're not first movers. They're not advancing. They're not, ooh, that cat's a mover, dude. He's, do you want to invest with Warren Buffett or do you want to invest with Joe Blokes? It's just different. It's a different level. So we have most certainly entered mainstream global commerce. Bitcoin is on the world stage. I've been saying this, dude. It's coming to the world stage at every city near you. And we're going to wake up and go, wow, 2024 was a period that people should have sold everything about Bitcoin. I am this close to leveraging the shit out of my current position so I can buy more, which I never use leverage to. And I don't recommend it to most people. Couldn't be more excited, man. I see nothing. It's actually scary to be able to say, hey, wow, there's nothing that's going to hold us back now. Nothing. The tools are built. The regs are there. You have you have President Trump. If he gets his head blown off, JD Vance is going to step in. We're going to keep 140,000 Bitcoin on the reserve. You guys were terrified of them selling it. I was hoping they would. Please sell it, man. So I can buy it for 50. The Germans fucking dumped. They're broke. You'll hear within 6 months that Germany is completely broke. And the EU is, imploding. How this isn't positive for Bitcoin is just scary. Oh, by the way, energy price is going to fall forever. That's good for Bitcoin. That is absolutely great for Bitcoin. The energy prices fall. Natural gas, electricity will be cheaper in the future. And guess what mines Bitcoin? Electricity. So, and if you want more alpha than that, if you don't like Bitcoin because it's only up 45% a year, then you get to go buy the miners and tokens and Coinbase and MicroStrategy. And if MicroStrategy isn't good enough for you, you can buy 3MST, which is leveraged MicroStrategy. In openness, I bought MicroStrategy on Friday before the election results. Should have bought more. I bought a lot, but I didn't want to do one clip at one time. The miners have done exceptionally well. CleanSpark, I added 30 units to 50 unit position about a week ago at 1047. It's at 1370, dude. I bought it 2 weeks ago at 1072. It's at 1375 right now. I mean, in volume too. Like these are easy trades to get off. These $1 million, $500,000 trade that don't move the market at all. Hey, put an order in. I literally watched CleanSpark go from, 11 down to a 1070. I said, hey man, put an offer in there at 1046. Oh, Gary, you're not going to get hit at 1046. Put it in there anyway. I got filled at 1046. And then it went back 1072. See, this to me, this kind of movement, if you're not FOM'd, fear of missing out, or whatever, FOMO'd, like if you're just disciplined, hey man, I want to like put a bid in. It's 76.2 right now, right? 76.6 right now. Put a bid in at 71.5. We will probably see 71 or 72 again. Go play around with it. See, hey, how deep is it there? That's an opportunity, man. You save $4,000, okay? But just numbers, and don't be stupid. Okay, don't be stupid. Like, do things like this. If you like 75, put a number in it. 76.6 right now. Put a number in it. 75,001. Okay, put odd numbers in there. Change it up so you get the bid hit. There's some numbers at 52. They're just psychological. They don't want to get hit. Or 61 or whatever that number is. Be methodical about it. Now, if you follow the 20% rule, and now I really promise we'll shut up. If you follow the 20% rule at 76, that would be 16,000 off of this would be 60 grand. You're really becoming a bonehead if you don't have a bid in at 60 grand. Now you're being a dumb doe. Okay, like that's the 20% rule. Remember that rule I taught? Hey, 15 grand off 76. In fact, 61 grand. I'm gonna put a bid in there. Those I put bids in for pretty nice chunks. Right now, if you wanted to pick it up at 74 because you're like, maybe it doesn't go to, it might not ever see 72 again. Then pick up a couple of pieces, man. Pick up 5,000, 50,000, 500,000, whatever your deal is. Pick up a chunk of it, get it in there, and then go, okay, I'm waiting for my 20% pullback. Now, if it goes up to 80, let's think this through. It moved from 76 to 80. Most certainly at 80, we will have a retracement. You do the 20% rule again. 80 minus 16,000 is 66,000. See, you're right back where we were. Yeah, 66,000, right? So,
yeah,
right in that band. Don't think that you've got to pick the low number. Nobody gets a damn reward for picking the bottom. Okay? The only reward comes where you're able to pick the bottom and hold it to the very top. Does it fucking matter if you bought it at 01 or 00? It doesn't matter. It matters the spread between what you bought and sold it for, man. That's all that matters. So these entry points, you're looking at one of the greatest products on the planet, a commodity that can't be replicated. If I told you this was uranium, you'd be like, wow, shit. Dude, we're not going to even radiate anybody with this product. There's no risk of radiation with this product. So it's easy for me to be bullish, dude. And I continue to beg people to come in here because even Eric this morning, like, dude, could we be wrong? Because if you've been doing this for your whole life, it is very unusual for people to get this jacked up over a product. Like I can't find anything better to invest in. And that is scary, okay? Because that's like, hey, have I gone too far? Have I drank so much Kool-Aid that I've lost my rational viewpoint? And I will pay anyone to come up here and correct me. And I mean that with great sincerity. I also mean that I don't think that one person's going to be able to show up. And you're probably going to be embarrassed if you do. Because your construct doesn't hold water now. I mean, what's his name? Yeah. The gold guy? Schmidt? Peter Schitt? Like, he's just he's an engagement farmer or what? He can't even pop. I don't even think he's got much gold, dude. I think the guy's probably just a bum.
He probably has some Bitcoin. He knows what he's just like Kramer. He's just like Kramer.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be doing a Spaces. You're going to be doing a Spaces tomorrow.
What is tomorrow? Saturday? I don't know, but I will do a space Sunday. As you know, or people in the audience may not know, 2 weeks ago, I started doing at 10:30 every Sunday morning. And I made a commitment last week based on the attendance. There were 3,000 people. For anyone that goes to church, I haven't been to church in many, many, many decades, sadly. I have been, well, that's not true, actually, decades, but I've studied many religions, and I have been disappointed with all of them. I'm not blaming anyone, but feel like I haven't been given the straight scoop on any of them. And just got fed up with it. Like school, I bitched about not having enough good schooling, and I bitched about not having access to enough great spiritual knowledge without it being abused. 2 Sundays ago, I held a little church thing. Hey, let's just do, like, I'm sad that I don't have a place to go to on Sundays or any Mondays or whatever. I'm a communal type person. And the first Sunday went really well, got a lot of feedback, and I walked away that Sunday feeling good. I was like, hey, man, I feel like I went to church. I feel guilty that I don't go to church, if I'm really honest. Not guilty, but I feel like something's missing. The next Sunday, which was last Sunday, sorry, this is a long story, but it really shocked me. There were 3,000 people in the room. We went on for an hour and a half or 2 hours. So let's say that half of them are robots. Not real. I don't think any of them were robots. I do not advertise for this. But I asked the people in the room, hey, when I saw the numbers, I went, whoa, there's 3,000 people here. When was the last time you were in a church, man, with 3,000 people? Or 1,500? Or 700? Or 300? So, dude, and we did something on what I consider to be the two most powerful words in the universe. I am. I could probably do another one on Sunday because people loved it. My commitment is I will do every Sunday for the rest of my life if there's 3,000 people showing up in the room. And the reason I'm doing it is, hey, 3,000 people showing up in the room is telling me that people want to commune. They want to come together. And all they need is a voice they can all kind of coalesce toward and center around that doesn't make one person wrong against the other. I was just absolutely gobsmacked with how many people were there. So yeah, I'll do that Sunday, 10:30. It's family friendly. I may blow the F word every now and then, but it's not something your kids have not already heard every day if they're going to public or private school or they're on the internet. Don't fuck with me. I'm going to say F. But it's really this is designed to put the life back into how people do things and to think through things that I think are really more spiritual than they are business, but they help you build a really, really spiritual, cool, wonderful life that you can be proud of. Like I've always known that I was able to make a lot of money. This has never been my issue. I've never been worried about it whatsoever. But I've always worried about being ruined by money and being not a nice person. That I have seen that more than I have not seen it. And it's always been my driver. Hey, I do not want to get ruined by this. I don't want to be easier for a camel to get through the head of a needle than it is for a rich man to get in heaven. I heard that when I was 7 years old in a church, and I can't tell you why this happened to me, but I was like, oh, wow, that's going to be my life's challenge. 7 years old, I heard that. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to figure out how to get into heaven and be a rich man. And it's like, whoa, that sounded like a challenge. It's easier for a camel to get through the head of a needle than a rich man to get into the gates of heaven. I'm like, that's a good challenge. Can I get rich and still be nice? So that's my goal. I want to be stupid fucking rich, man. And everyone deserves to be stupid rich. And here's a window right here for an opportunity. You're going to have to work probably more. I would generate more fiat. I'd work on weekends. I'd bust my ass for this experience. And 10 years from now, if Sam keeps doing what he's doing, Sam 10 years from now is going to be in a completely different position than most of the people his age at the time. I mean, it will be radical, dude. And you're going to feel sorry for him. I mean, not sorry, but you're most certainly going to be impacted by them. I'll close with one thing. One, everybody needs to go out and do something nice for somebody today. If you've been critical of me in any way, you need to do two nice things today. Okay. We're going to give you a penalty clause. I'm a nice guy, dude. I'm trying to do good things. I'm not asking you for money. I don't want to get you into a deal that you can't get out of. I don't really, I would like to go down as an educator here. I think I'm starting to find my role, my place where I can spend the rest of my life and actually do some really great good on the planet and leave it better than when I showed up. And that's the purpose of Sunday. So if any of that has any kind of like, oh, wow, that's cool. I'd love you to show up. Okay. And that'll be Sunday. Don't know what the topic will be. I start ruminating on that right now. And then we'll be back Monday on Spaces. Sorry, I missed yesterday, dude. You know what happened to me? I was talking to some people, came here. I was here ready. I laid down. I fell asleep. I was exhausted. And then I saw your note at
after
like
this
5:50.
week. After this week, I think we're all a little shell shocked. So I think it's understandable.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, right? Everyone's shell shocked. Wow. Something is happening in our world, okay? When everybody's shell shocked, we're so like, wow, did that really just happen?
It does.
Just
it
happened.
feels like a week ago. It feels like, yeah. Insane.
Okay, guys. Well, listen, I think we see 77 this weekend. Solana is just exploding. Ethereum, when Ethereum makes its move, if it makes its move, it's going to be funny to see. Ethereum's up 1% today, and Bitcoin is up less than 1%. Solana's over 200. The miners are coming back. They've drawn back a little bit. You got Dogecoin holding. MicroStrategy is at 269, right off of its 275 print. And Palantir, which is the AI, they're just screaming. Meta board member is similar today, and they're up. What are they up in like? They're up 55% in 1 month, putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet, dude.
Wow.
55.8% in 1 month. What does that tell you? What does it tell you when a medical firm puts Bitcoin on its balance sheet and its stock goes up 55% in 1 month, guys? This is a public company on NASDAQ. Don't be a ding dong. You got to look at all these little green flags, red flags, these little points of information. This is exciting. And this is before, Microsoft is talking at the board level. Dude, I know for sure that Microsoft has been pitched Bitcoin a number of times at very, very, very senior levels. I don't care if they don't buy Bitcoin. That they considered it is stunning. Stunning. Okay? It's Microsoft, man. One of the top 5. That means all of them have been pitched, bro. Good job on Samson, by the way. Samson Mao is out there. He's pitching hard. Okay. Eric Wise is spending a lot of time pitching corporates on this. He's in Miami. Samson Mao, by the way, we're just responding to me, Sam. I'm going to look at some of the stuff they're doing on the investment side. I'd like to look at some of his fund, and also like to get him on the show because I think he's a really awesome human being. I don't know him personally, but everything I've seen of him, he's really awesome. All right, guys, I got to go to lunch. I'll be back in Tampa about 4:00, Sam. You guys have a great weekend.
All right. We will see you guys soon.